Hello, friends. Listen, I got a video for you today. This is Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay, he's a presidential candidate right now looking to be elected in 2024. And again, he did used to work with Mr. Trump during his presidency. Vivek Ramaswamy was invited over to the CNN network to speak about Trump's indictment. And let me tell you something. Some of the best remarks I have heard came from this man. Brace yourself, like and subscribe to the page, click the bell icon for more. Let's take a listen to this video.
Welcome back to State of the Union. Most of the Republicans running against former President Trump defended him after his indictment this week, but only one has gone as far as my next guest. Here with me now is Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Thank you so much for joining me. So before you heard any details of the allegations in the Trump indictment, you put out a statement saying if you become president, you would pardon Donald Trump on day one. Now you've seen the allegations and you've seen that he stored highly classified information like nudes and others in unsecured areas of his country club. Given everything that you've seen, do you stand by your promise to pardon him if he's convicted?
Reading that indictment and looking at the selective omissions of both fact and law, Dana, I'm even more convinced that a pardon is the right answer here.
Why?
The top question actually we should be asking is, what did Biden tell Merrick Garland? What did Merrick Garland tell Jack Smith? Because what I see in that document is deeply politicized. Not a single mention of the Presidential Records Act, the most relevant statute to the actual alleged crime here. Selective statements from President Trump's statements on the campaign trail in 2016 about classification and how he'd treat it, without one mention of the fact that he actually, after he was elected in 2016, said he would not prosecute Hillary Clinton and would not want to see her prosecuted. And by the way, no one's mentioned this yet. This was what stood out to me. The classification scheme itself was defined not by statute, but by executive order, which is interesting because executive orders, appellate courts have held, do not bind a U.S. president with the force of law. So this is selective prosecution. I think it's irresponsible not to have included any treatment of those facts or law in this indictment. It reeks of politicization, which is why I want to go back to the top question that the media actually should be asking. What did Biden tell Garland? What did Garland tell Jack Smith? That's what you need to be getting to the bottom of.
The White House insists that he has absolutely no...
He's cooking her wide open. I'm loving this. Many things are not being discussed about this matter. There are many questions that are left unanswered. There's a lot of hypocrisy here, double standard, two-tier of judgment system here. But, I mean, let him do his thing. I don't want to stop the man.
No connection to this, that the whole reason the special counsel was put in place is to take it out of politics. But I want to read something. I want to read something that Bill Barr, President Trump's own attorney general, said just this morning on another network. He said, quote, if even half of it is true, speaking of the indictment, then he's toast. It is a very detailed indictment, and it's very, very damning. This is the former president's own former attorney general.
Well, it is.
I think we have to be able to draw a distinction between bad judgments. I would not have made the judgments that President Trump made. It's a big part of why I'm in this race, is I think that I would have made different judgments than Trump made.
What would you have done differently?
Well, I would not have taken those documents with me, and I would have returned them on demand because that would have actually set up for a much more constructive discussion. But there's a difference between a bad judgment and breaking the law.
Yes.
And when especially the federal police apparatus conflates the two, that's a threat to liberty for everyone, not just President Trump, but every American, where every misjudgment is treated as a violation of law. What really matters is the relevant law, including, by the way, how Judge Jackson interpreted the Presidential Records Act in 2012 in the Clinton sock drawer case. Not a single mention of the most relevant statute in that document means that indictment is a politicized document. That's why I want to get back to the bottom of the politics behind it, and we need transparency there.
According to the indictment, quote, the classified documents Trump stored in his boxes included information regarding defense and weapons capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities of the United States and its allies to military attack, and plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack. So we are talking about very, very sensitive information, which, again, Trump allegedly stored in a bathroom, ballroom, in his bedroom. Is that more than just bad judgment?
It's very bad judgment, no doubt about it.
So you do have issues with that?
I do, if those allegations are true. By the way, the reason we have a court of law is, and I am personally deeply skeptical of everything in that indictment. So I will not believe it until we actually see it aired in a court of law.
Exactly, my man. And again, let's talk about Hillary for a minute. She had documents herself that she had no business having because she was not a president. And the person who had access did not have security clearance to those files. And she was sending information back and forth. She was communicating back and forth. So that means she was exposed to a lot of alleged classified documents. But again, she was just giving a little slap on the wrist and just walk away. So I wonder how much Sister Hillary has to do with what's happening to Mr. Trump today.
And the reason I don't believe it, Dana, is the selective omission of a bunch of other facts that should have been in that indictment.
Yep.
A treatment of a bunch of other statutes that are relevant to this alleged crime that were mentioned nowhere, that I personally have no faith whatsoever in those vague allegations. So if those are true, yes, I think that's reflective of very bad judgment. I'm skeptical that it even is true. But the bottom line is we cannot conflate a bad judgment with a violation of the law. And that's what it's at.
And we should note, as you know, when an indictment in order to get an indictment, it has to be approved by a grand jury.
What they taught us in law school is that you can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich.
Just on principle, do you think it would be
But by law, you're not supposed to get an indictment, a special counsel against a political opponent once you're a president. So Joe Biden had to sign on to the deal. He's not even supposed to be doing that to a former president. There's a lot of stuff going on here that is very, very disturbing in this thing. And it's very obvious that somebody is very determined to make sure that Donald J. Trump is not reelected. Listen, friends, go to my merch because I'm working on putting a merch together about Mr. Trump. Make sure you support this channel, like and subscribe to the page, click the bell icon for more. Okay, show us some love in this place. We got things to do. Let's keep going.
Mistake for the Republican?
Let me hear the question again.
Taught us in law school is that you can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich.
Just on principle, do you think it would be a mistake for the Republican Party to nominate somebody who is facing serious federal criminal charges?
Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. That is the goal. Did you hear the question? Listen to the question again.
On principle, do you think it would be a mistake for the Republican Party to nominate somebody who is facing serious federal criminal charges?
That is the goal. They don't want him to win. This is a move to block. And this is an attack, not so much on Trump. It's an attack on the people who love Trump. The goal is to smear Trump with so much evil, wrongs, and wickedness, and guilt, and shame that the people lose confidence in voting for him. I just told you, this is what this is about. I could see right through the cracks, man. I'm like, yeah, that's it. This is about changing our perspective concerning Trump. This is about changing the Republican, the MAGA movement from loving Trump so much. And I think it's because some people are afraid of what Trump will do if he wins. Come on, friends.
Look, I'm in this race to win this race because I think we need to move forward as a country. I think we go forward with the agenda if we're grounded in first principles and moral authority. That's why I'm in this race. But that's not for you or I, or certainly the Federal Administrative Police State to decide. That's for the people of this country to decide.
Federal Administrative Police State? That's pretty strong.
That is exactly what it is.
What's at work here, right? You have a federal administrative state. The police arm of that state is for the first time in U.S. history, not only indicting a former president, but indicting currently a lead candidate against the U.S. president. That is not the stuff of the United States of America. That is the stuff of banana republics. And if there was ever going to be a case brought against a lead political rival,
she's triggered. Vivek Ramaswamy, I tell you what, man. I wish I could listen. If you run again 2028, I'll vote for you, because right now Trump has my vote. But I like you though. I really like you.
Rival for a sitting U.S. president, it better be locked down and airtight. Not an indictment that fails to mention the most relevant statute that's actually at issue.
Yeah, well, it is, obviously, as you said, it is unprecedented. I should say that there have been democracies that have prosecuted, put criminal prosecution of former leaders because those times have been
Which ones?
so extraordinary.
And here in the middle of an election.
And this obviously
Yeah, name one though.
is very extraordinary.
The generalization is going on here is something to see. But again, give her the benefit of the doubt. She's having a hard time because he's cooking her wide open publicly here.
I disagree with the allegations. I just think I do not believe those allegations because of, I think, the intellectual dishonesty in that indictment. So I think the federal court is actually, I think, based on the precedent of the Clinton sock drawer case, where effectively Judge Jackson said that it is at the president's, her language, not mine, sole discretion as to what is and is not covered as a presidential record. I think the court will acquit him. But that's beside the point of the judgment that President Biden made. And if Trump's judgment was bad, President Biden's judgment is worse.
I don't think they meant to have this guy. CNN made a mistake by bringing him over. I think some people are going to be so upset because he is cooking them wide open with logic and common sense and knowledge and wisdom. Cooking them.
I think the court will acquit him. But that's beside the point of the judgment that President Biden made. And if Trump's judgment was bad, President Biden's judgment is worse for actually bringing a prosecution. He should have done what Trump did.
President Biden didn't bring a prosecution.
The Department of Justice reports into the President of the United States, and so this is a fig leaf, which is why I think the media needs to get to the bottom of this.
But there's no evidence. There's absolutely no evidence, unless you can show me some, that President Biden has had anything to do with...
Is she serious? Like, he has to sign onto the deal. Like, this woman is crazy.
This prosecution. That's why he put 2 layers in between with
due respect, I think it is shameful that I, as a competitor to President Trump in this race, have to ask questions that the media isn't asking. The job of the political media, if it has one job, is to hold the U.S. government accountable.
Yes, we know that.
And instead, we're doing the bidding.
Well, they're not doing that. Not you, CNN. that's one job they don't do anymore. They're just plain political parties. It's very, we want it to be non-bipartisan. Give me a break.
Media, if it has one job, is to hold the U.S. government accountable.
Yes, we know that.
And instead, we're doing the bidding. You're seeing the media doing the bidding of the U.S. government.
No.
Ask the question. Get to the bottom of what Biden told Garland and what Garland told Jack Smith. If the same shoe fit the other foot, you would not take their word at face value. Do not take their word now. Get to the bottom of it. Let's actually restore journalism in this country. That's what's actually missing, is getting to the truth.
Okay. Thank you for that. We are absolutely asking these questions.
Good.
And we know how to be good journalists because we do it every single day.
No, you're not. She's upset. No. Look at your record. Look at your viewership. She is mad. No, you are not good journalist.
Last question is...
He smiles.
On the fundamentals, do you believe that Donald Trump should be above the law or should he be held...
That's a silly question. That's a silly question. But let's see how he does that. You know those questions, should be above the law? Nobody said that.
The same standard as every citizen in this country.
Every citizen in this country is held and should be held to the same standard. That includes Joe Biden. That includes Hillary Clinton. That includes Mike Pence.
Amen. Donald Trump should not be above the law. Amen. Neither should Hillary Clinton. Neither should Joe Biden. Neither should Mike Pence. Neither should Obama. So, you understand? It's one thing the Democrats judge and condemn Trump as the worst criminal in history of the world, when people of their party have done either the same or worse crimes, and they were given, a plea right. You go ahead, boy. We understand. You didn't mean to do that.
That includes me. That includes every citizen across this country. What we're seeing here, though, is a selective prosecution.
Yes.
And there's a difference between Donald Trump when he left office as president versus Joe Biden, who is a U.S. senator,
Couldn't it be true
or Hillary Clinton, who's a Secretary of State, none of whom are covered by the Presidential Records Act.
Couldn't it be true that it's not so much as selective prosecution? It's just that the allegations of what Donald Trump did is just different and allegedly...
She's making herself look bad.
much more egregious than what we've seen anywhere else?
No.
There are a few things that are just different about the presidency, and we have to accept that we have this as law in this country, Dana. And if you don't like the law, we should change the law. But the law says there's a Presidential Records Act that specifically gives U.S. presidents jurisdiction and authority over deciding what is and isn't a presidential record. And executive orders bind the rest of the country.
Yep.
That's the classification scheme. They don't bind the U.S. president. Again, these are questions for the courts. So I'm not substituting my opinion for the judgment of the court.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the fact that those distinctions did not even appear in this indictment, to me, reek of politicization, which is why I am deeply skeptical of the face value claim that the White House wasn't involved. That's what I want to get to the bottom of.
Vivek Ramaswamy, candidate for the Republican nomination. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, man. That brought some joy to my heart. I'll tell you what. Vivek was on point. He was on fire. He said it like it is, man. I don't want to add to the man's word. He's done preached the word. Listen, man, we know. Listen, you don't even have to be into politics of any sort to understand right from wrong. This is just wrong. It's wrong in every sense of the word. Oh, Lord, that was amazing, though. I got one text. I'm not gonna interpret it for you, but I'll let you wrestle with it. Listen to the Bible, Proverbs. If a ruler hearkens to lies, all his servants are wicked. Oh man. And this is talking about Biden's administration. I want to read it again. If a ruler hearkens to lies, all his servants are wicked. That's Bible for you. So it's like, it just tells you the corruption is, if the ruler is willing to believe that which is not true, the entire system underneath them will be corrupted. That's the point. But what? You don't have to believe me. Just watch what's going on with Mr. Trump. Do some digging, ask some questions. And people are not doing that. Trump is going to be okay, man. You know why? I'm praying for Trump. I think he's going to be okay. He's going to win. The goal here is to defame Trump and to change our confidence in him. That's the goal. And if we stand firm with Trump and the law, by the grace of God, with much prayer, the law wins and nothing happens to him, it's going to be all right. We're going to be just fine. That's why I'm telling you, I've been praying for Trump, man, like crazy. Because I want him to win. Because he's got to come back and do some spanking. Because there's some serious cleanups that needs to be done. Anyway, friends, like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.